What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than normal. I have Will here from Financial Wolf, and he is the king of side hustles. He has a channel with over 120,000 subscribers where he makes content all about making money and finding unconventional ways to go about doing it. So Will, do you want to give the audience a bit of an introduction to yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Will. I'm 19, and for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been doing a bunch of different side hustles to find ways to make money, and I've also documented that on YouTube.
Awesome. Yeah. So what made you want to decide to not only get into YouTube, but also to get into the process of just creating different revenue streams and starting different side hustles?
Yeah, so I guess what kind of made me get into it is I watched a lot of YouTube and I saw people like Graham Stephan was doing it back in the day. There was another channel, Financial Education. So I saw like other finance channels kind of start, and I was watching them. So I was like, I could do this, but like do my own spin on it with like targeting people my age.
And so how long have you been on YouTube so far? Like what's the total length of time?
Yeah, so I started when I was 15, and when I first started, all I talked about was like reselling, because that's the business I was doing back then.
And then when did you transfer or switch to like just general side hustles?
So I'd probably say when I decided to make a video of me selling candy at school, because I used to do that like before I started YouTube, like when I was like 13, 14, and I was like, oh, this is a good way to make money, so I made a YouTube video about it. It like blew up. So after that,
how many views did it get?
I think it's at like 1.1 million now, which is crazy. It's like still my most popular video. So ever since then, I've kind of become more of like a general side hustle channel.
So over the years, you've tried every side hustle that you can basically think of. You sold 20-cent iced coffee outside of Starbucks, flipped AirPods, sold candy, dumpster dove. What is one side hustle though, or like a few side hustles if you have them, that were just like epic failures that you wouldn't recommend anybody doing?
I wouldn't say I wouldn't recommend anyone doing these side hustles, but one side hustle that definitely didn't work for me is drop shipping. Like a lot of people think it's so easy.
I tried drop shipping too.
It's so hard. Like it's so hard to find a solid product. And drop shipping, I feel like people think it's like an easy side hustle. It's literally building an actual like e-commerce company.
It is.
And you have to like brand your store well, like set your product apart. And it's just something that's really, really difficult to do if you're just like picking a random product from China.
So obviously with YouTube, like even if a side hustle doesn't work, there is a bit of a benefit to it because you can monetize the views and make money from it that way. But like views aside, what to you makes a side hustle just not work for you?
A major thing is just like the time, because obviously like my main job now is to make content. So like I need to do side hustles that I don't actively need to be working on like all the time. So that's kind of why I got into Turo recently. Yeah. It's something that you can kind of do a little bit more on the side, whereas like some of the other side hustles I've tried take a lot of time to make
Uber
money.
Or DoorDash.
Yeah.
So on the flip side of that question, is there any side hustle that's just been like an extremely good one or that stands out as like the best one that you've pursued over the years?
Yeah, so honestly, like one of my most successful side hustles was reselling. Like I used to flip like electronics. I flipped shoes for a while. It's kind of time consuming, but I would make like $1,000 to $2,000 a month when I was like 16, and I was like, it's like a really good side hustle.
And for how much time? Like, would you say?
A good amount of time. Like I'd probably say like 15 hours a week. So like.
But I mean,
yeah, not bad.
That's less than part-time.
Yeah.
So not horrible, especially for somebody that's in school. That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So what type of stuff, like, do you still flip today? And if so, what stuff do you flip?
Yeah, so I'll still like post ads. So the way I was getting devices for cheap, like especially electronics, is I just post ads on like Craigslist and Facebook saying I buy like electronics.
That's smart.
People would reach out to me. Usually I'd lowball them, which is like, not like in a bad way. It's just like I'm giving them the option to sell their device right away for cash, rather than like going through the hassle of like selling it themselves. And yeah, I still post ads, but I only take deals that pay like really good. So like I'm pretty picky about.
So what type of margin do you look for?
I don't go out and buy a device unless I make at least $100 usually.
That's
unless
good.
It's for like a video, but usually at least $100.
And so is it like where you'll make $100 and like the device needs to be fixed, or is it like very literally like you wipe it down, you take a better photo? Really?
Yeah, literally just that. I don't like sometimes I'll even buy cracked devices and sell them cracked on eBay.
Really?
Yeah.
So it really comes down to the people selling them are just that lazy.
Yeah, they just don't want to sell it themselves. Like one guy was like, "Oh, take my iPhone 8 and iPhone 7 for $80 because that's what Eco ATM offered me and it wouldn't work, so I'll take that." Like people just don't care. Some of them.
Wow, that is interesting. So one question I get asked all the time, I would probably say that it's probably one of the most frequently asked questions that I get, is for people saying, well, I want to get started with a side hustle. I want to get started with an additional revenue stream, but I have no money, I have no experience, and I don't know where to start. So with that kind of guideline in mind, what would be your piece of advice for somebody that's like, I'm wanting something that I can start today with very little experience and money?
I would for sure say check out the gig apps like DoorDash and Instacart. Like if you have time, those are like really easy ways to make money if you're above like 18 years old.
Yeah.
If you're under 18, I would say, offering like lawn mowing services, stuff like that. Or number two, just reselling electronics, because you can honestly get into it for like $200.
Yeah.
So like I would say like just try to save up some money, and then like a lot of people can make $200.
Or kind of shifting to Turo and kind of how you and I got connected. So for those of you who watch HP and I's channel, or for anybody that watches Will's channel as well, Will came down to Dallas to collaborate with me on this channel, and then also with HP and I on our vlog channel. And we also did a video for his channel as well. And it was all surrounded around Turo. He just bought his first Turo car. And so that brings me to my next series of questions, is what made you want to get started with Turo and kind of make this shift from what you're currently doing into this new venture?
Yeah, so Turo is something I can see myself scaling up pretty big, just because like it really doesn't require that much time, and like there is a major degree of like it being passive.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's something I could just have as like a background series on the channel. It would be a good way to invest money.
Yeah.
And it's like crazy because like a $5,000-$6,000 car can generate like $1,000 a month,
Yeah.
which is crazy. So if you get 5 cars, that's $5,000. So
yeah, I mean, it's something I preach on my channel all the time, is like the ROI from a like dollar for dollar standpoint, you just can't beat it from anything else compared to Turo.
yeah.
So as far as you've had your Turo car listed on Turo for a few weeks now, but the start of getting your car up and running was very rocky.
Yeah.
And so can you go into a bit of details with that?
Yeah, so I bought the car for $4,800. It was a Ford Fiesta, a 2013, and I made a big mistake when like purchasing that car. I didn't thoroughly check enough things. Like I didn't realize that the car didn't have a working radiator, so I wasn't looking at the heat gauge at all when I was test driving it.
Yeah.
And little did I know, by the next day, the car would overheat on me.
And it was like literally the next day,
Literally
right?
the next day. I drove it like 30 minutes, and then I went to pick up my friend, and the second he gets in the car, like coolant sprays everywhere. And I was like, oh crap. And I ended up towing it home. And the next day, brought it to the repair shop. They told me it had a blown radiator and $1,400 worth of repairs.
And so you paid the repairs, and then everything has been good since then?
There was one more repair after that, because it wasn't only the radiator that wasn't working, but also the fan. So like when the car was idling, it was still overheating on me. So I had to get that fixed. I probably should have repaired the fan myself. I feel like that wouldn't have been too difficult of a repair, but I ended up going through a shop. And
I mean, I don't really blame you. I feel like at that point you have so much money into
I was
it.
just like,
It's like
screw it.
there's like a point whenever you're just like, get this fixed, let's get it on the road,
yeah, I
and
was
let's
like,
be done.
this money's gone to me, and then hopefully from now I can like make it back. So
after that last repair, has everything been good?
yeah, I'm total in on that car like $7,000, and it's slowly making it back.
That's good. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
And so how has your experience been like navigating, I guess, like Turo policy? Because I feel like it's interesting for me, being somebody that's been on Turo for now going on 5 years. Like I'm just so engulfed into the business model that it's hard for me to see it from like a new person's perspective sometimes. But I feel like there's like two aspects of the equation, like the guest management and then also like navigating Turo themselves. Like how have you found that piece of the equation? Like the app and all that stuff.
So like navigating Turo is like not too difficult for me. The thing is like when you run into issues, like I've tried to make sure to like read up on the terms of service recently so that like if I ever run into something, I can make sure that like I'm able to communicate with Turo and have everything go my way by like, knowing what I'm doing. So yeah, that's been kind of a learning curve, but other than that, like I feel like I'm figuring it out.
And so for my final question, what is your, I guess, like, if you had one piece of advice to give to somebody who's wanting to get started with not necessarily a side hustle, but like either with YouTube, a side hustle, something in the gig economy, what would that one piece of advice be?
I would say, like, for the most part, learn by, like, doing it. Like, I feel like a lot of people spend so much time, like, researching, and I'm kind of someone who, for better or for worse, I kind of just jump into something and learn as I go. And that's kind of the best way to do it, because if you're just, like, researching a bunch, like, a lot of times you just get nothing done. Like,
I 100% agree. I think that is, I always, it's like analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
It's like you just get stuck in the hamster wheel of researching and you never do. I love that piece of advice.
Like, people ask so many questions, which is good, but like you also got to like take action to like start so you can like figure it out as you go.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I think that's all the questions I have for you today. I appreciate you being here. It's been awesome collaborating with you the last couple of days.
Of course.
And so I guess to end things off, if you have anything that you want to tell my audience, let them know how to find your channel, what you're working on, let them know.
Yeah, so I've got YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and if you guys want to see me grow my Turo business from the one car I have right now, I guess check me out.
And all of his links will be down in the description below, so be sure to check them out. And like always, you guys, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video.